AITA for telling my parents that if they died right now I would not take in my autistic little brother. I 20F was told by my father that he's worried about what will happen to my autistic little brother 5 when he dies. I said my stepmom, his mom, will take care of him. My dad said that that's ridiculous and that since he's my brother and my blood I should immediately take on the responsibility of raising my baby brother. Now please don't get me wrong. I love my baby brother, but I also can barely afford to feed myself sometimes. I am not the most financially responsible, nor do I even have a house, car, full fridge. I am in the military, so I am going to be traveling anywhere from every couple of months to every couple of years. And everyone in the family knows that I adamantly do not want children. I still have so many things I want to do in my life I want to live in that does not include children in any capacity at the moment. I also suggested that my aunt, who has 2 children, a stable financial income, and a wonderful home and experience in adulting responsibility raising children. Apparently this was not the right answer, as my father keeps saying how terrible I am for not wanting to take in my little brother should he die now, even though I said if it happens in the future I may consider it. Other family members have also said how selfish it is of me. Am I the asshole here? Edit info. A lot of you have asked why won't your stepmother take care of your brother if your father dies? She 100% can and would. She was a single mother to 4 sons for years before my dad came into the picture. But when I said my stepmother would care for her son, to him that wasn't the right answer. This was his exact response. The correct answer is, redacted's my brother, my blood. You can rest easy and don't have to worry. I'd never let anything happen to him, and I'd gladly take him in when that time comes. So he was upset because I didn't say that if he died I would automatically take him in. NTA, your dad is ridiculous. No court would ever grant parental rights to the sibling when the mother is still around. Edit, just read OP's edit. My judgment has not changed. Dad is still being ridiculous. Looks like he just wanted to test you or something. There are ways to have this kind of conversation with your child without resorting to theatrics. NTA, it is not selfish to recognize that you do not have the abilities to take care of him properly. Your brother's quality of life is important, and it is good of you to be honest about that. NTA, let me get this straight. In this hypothetical scenario where your brother's mother is still alive, you are expected to pack up a small child who is autistic, take him out of the only home he knows, away from his only living parent, and become a single parent in the military. Has he said this in front of your stepmother? If your father wants to make plans for your brother's care once he passes, then he needs to make actual plans, and that is not on you. NTA, why is the responsibility suddenly shoved onto you rather than his biological mom? That is so confusing. I cannot make sense of that at all. Not to mention, getting mad at you over a hypothetical question. It is not like your dad is dying anytime soon, hopefully. As you have said, who knows the state of mind you might be in years from now. You have said it almost as eloquently as you could have. It may have seemed cold, but it is the truth, and your reasonings are justified. You should not have to give up your life to raise your brother when there are other people perfectly capable of doing so and are meant to be doing so. NTA, I have a son who is developmentally disabled. My son and I are full-on adults with kids of our own. We are financially stable, but we have been very clear with my ELs that when they pass or become unable to care for my son, we will not be taking in Sil, and that it is their responsibility to ensure she is placed somewhere and has care lined up. The most we can commit to is looking in on her periodically and overseeing any trusts just to ensure money is being appropriately spent on her and not mismanaged. We have been very clear about this for a long time now. Yes, my ELs probably think we are Oz, but we know what our limits are and what we are capable of. We are not capable of caring for my Sil as she needs around-the-clock supervision. We are not set up or equipped for providing this level of care to someone, nor do we want to. We do not want to place this burden on our own young children. You need to sit down and have a frank conversation with your father. You need to be very clear that if he has concerns regarding what happens to his son upon his death, he needs to start making plans now. Special Needs Trust Fund is a good option to start with. You need to be clear that you are young and have no idea what your life will look like when the time comes for your brother to need care. So your father needs to assume responsibility now for ensuring that your brother is cared for when the time comes. Also, you need to be very clear with your father that, if he dies, you will not be assuming responsibility for your brother. While your father can call you the all he wants, reality is that when he is dead, your brother will become a ward of the state. In the use, this means that someone with a disability has their care completely turned over to the state and they are then placed wherever the state has room. Your brother will be far better off in the long run if his parents make the plans ahead of time to ensure he has appropriate care, rather than letting the state do it. NTA, while I can respect wanting to plan for accidents and such, you are only 20. It does not sound like your dad or stepmom are in bad health, so frankly this concern seems a bit overblown for the current time. Sometimes it is just better to nod and smile than fight back against something that right now is kind of an irrelevant issue. NTA, would you take your brother in is a reasonable question to ask as they plan for the future, but it's not a reasonable question not to take no for an answer on. Heck, when my parents asked they started the conversation with you can absolutely say no, and you can change your mind depending on time and circumstances. Heck, if your dad died tomorrow you could change your mind, but he really needs to find an alternative. I am frankly shocked stepmom won't take him. That seems really cold. This does not make any sense. If it is about blood, his mother is more his blood than his half-sister and also, is his parent and therefore the default person to look after him. I would say to your stepmother, in front of him, hey, why does dad want me to take brother away from you if dad dies? NTA, he has a mom. Why would you take care of him if he still has at least one parent? And even if he did not have a mom, you cannot do not to take care of him. You do not want that kid growing up broke and feeling unwanted. NTA, does your dad often come up with dramatic hypothetical scenarios to test you with, and then get angry about your answer if it's not the right answer? It's very strange behavior. I would ask him if he's planning on dying soon. When he says no, tell him you are not interested in his mind games and manufactured drama, and he needs to drop it. As for the other family members chiming in, don't they have better things to do with their time than to join in on his little imaginary dramas? NTA, what deep dark secret is he hiding about his wife that makes her incapable of raising their son? Does he know she secretly resents and would dump in the system first chance she got? Regardless, if he wanted what was best for his kid as opposed to being obsessed with some big sibling takes in the younger fantasy, he would first want to ask the person most qualified and most able of his choices. Not the least, what deep dark secret is he hiding about his wife that makes her incapable of raising their son? Does he know she secretly resents and would dump in the system first chance she got? This is the impression this post leaves me with. NTA, if your father wants to see to it that your younger brother is properly taken care of, then he needs to set that in motion and make proper provisions. This means finding a willing guardian for the child who can provide a stable home environment as well as a fund that will see to your brother's care for as long as possible. A bachelor military service member who moved frequently and does not want children is a poor choice for guardian, and your father should recognize that. NTA, unless there is a whole lot of background info missing here, there is no reason for him not to stay with his mother in the event of your father's untimely demise. You have zero responsibility to take on the care of your younger brother, and in my opinion it is great that you recognize you are not stable enough or prepared enough to take on that kind of responsibility. Also, something you may take into account here is the fact that you are military and will be moving around a lot. That alone makes you a bad fit for taking on responsibility of an autistic child. He will need stability and routine in his life for him to thrive. Bringing him into a military life with constant changes could be extremely detrimental to him. Please subscribe.